Roll call.
I'm Sierra, the astounding actress.
I'm Sarah G, the cultural connoisseur.
I'm Frankie Ashen, the portentous professor, and this is Sunkissed Pod.
The podcast that goes there.
Sunkissed Pod is the creative space where we talk about popular media, self-exploration, and the world around us.
Come sit at our table and kiki with the girls and ladies.
So, before we get into the episode, I just want to do a quick spoiler alert. We are talking about the movie Sinners. To be so honest, you had multiple weeks. So at this point,
It's still new.
it's on you.
New.
Well, listen, it's on you guys. Okay?
Facts.
Do you not support Black art? What's wrong with you? Anyway.
Investigate that.
Please, yes, investigate it. So listen with care, because we will be talking about our feelings about the film, and we will not be holding anything back. You have been warned.
There you go. Good disclaimer. Because it's crazy.
Right.
It's all crazy.
Agreed.
The depth is... We're going to get in. Period.
Yeah, we are.
Getting down and dirty, y'all. Okay. So, ladies, first of all, how y'all doing?
In general?
Pretty good.
Yeah, in general, in life, a little bit.
I've been walking on sunshine.
Ooh. Walking on sunshine.
Right.
Absolutely. Pocket full of sunshine.
Why are you walking on sunshine?
There are so many pieces of media right now that are intersecting with my specific, wants and needs.
Yeah.
I'm playing cowboy video game, Red Dead Redemption. Sinners
Okay.
comes out, and it's in the same time period, so you're informed of this time period through historical fiction in each of these, media things. So learning more about, different time periods and how they're, explored by different creative teams is cool. But also, Sinners being also about vampires, which I have expressed a lot of communication
callback.
on this
Right.
podcast. So there's layers of oh, this is so interesting. Love media right now as it draws my attention in.
Yeah,
Frankie
that's
report.
pretty dope. The Frankie report sounds great, and our second real episode was on Black vampirism, so it's nice to kind of have a full circle moment. We're talking about vampirism
Right.
and Blackness. Well, we have another movie to add to it.
Yes.
What about you, Sierra? How you been doing? You also walking on sunshine,
Ha!
or is it a little cloudy?
For sure.
In the shark-infested waters. You hear me?
Absolutely.
Shark-infested
She's swimming with the
waters.
sharks.
It is Shark Week.
Okay.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, blood everywhere.
Shark
Her Aunt May's in town.
The pain.
It is in spite of that, it's actually been pretty
Is it Aunt May?
decent. Well, I call her. Well, I always say it's a girl. I
Yeah,
know
of
it's
course.
horrible, but I always say it's a girl, guys.
Oh no.
Or I'll say da da da.
I do not love the monthly gender reveal.
I'll send
love.
a Jaws meme. I know. It's so horrible. It's a girl.
Not this.
No, that's so terrible. My future daughter, don't take it personally, honey. I swear.
Please don't. We love you.
We love you. We're so happy you're here.
We love you.
No, for real. We're so happy you're here. But
no, all
reflect.
jokes aside, it hasn't been terrible. You know? I'm kind of okay. Nothing else go wrong, please. Please. Just tiptoeing the line.
eggshells.
Do.
I understand
Give yourself
that.
a relaxing day. Relaxing
Exactly.
week until it's over. You know what
Yes, exactly. Yep.
I mean? What ways do you take care of yourself during your period? Do you have a kind of ritual or kind of
Man,
foods that you
listen.
must have?
As you
Sacrifice
should.
goats. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And I'll be there.
No.
I stand with you.
Honestly, lots of water, tea, especially ginger, spearmint, all that stuff. And because I have PCOS, that stuff is actually really, really good. And also trying to make sure I eat a lot of leafy greens, dark greens, fruit, obviously doubling up on iron, because I'm losing
Absolutely.
it. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and lots of sleeping or trying to get sleep.
Sleep is necessary.
Yeah, because, you know.
It's really like your body is going through.
Showers.
Yes. Body's going through so much, it needs to hibernate. Go to sleep!
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, that's it.
Wait, speaking of blood. Y'all saw Sinners.
Yeah. Surprisingly, as someone who hates horror movies, surprisingly,
I know.
have
like, I'm
seen
so
Sinners.
proud
That's
of you.
right.
For real.
Yes.
Thank you.
Round
I went
applause.
with my friend Cassie Cass. I went with her and her husband. I drove my ass down the Mystic because it was, it was for them. They lived out there,
Right.
I said, yeah. So I drove down there. I had my big blanket, had some snacks,
Oh my
but
God.
they got the worst seats. But I love them down, but they got the worst seats. And
Was it
they're
like
gonna
right
hear,
up and
they're
front?
gonna hear this. Yes, I was like, God damn it. It was like the
You saw
7-year-old.
everything.
Like, do y'all hate my
Eyeballs going in different directions.
neck? Like, but it might have been booked, and you know what? At least we got seats. Anyway, I sat down with my big blanket just so I can duck every time something happened.
I'm glad you got
And,
that. The
yes,
accessibility
and Cassie
sort
can
of
attest that
accommodation.
I jumped. Yes, for sure. And like Cassie can attest that I jumped multiple times in the beginning. Like, guys, the vampire's not even here yet.
Yeah.
But
I've watched
those jump scares got me. And I was like, oh,
the first
about
one,
time.
yeah.
Yes.
That first one got me.
That was freaky.
Like,
that first one was.
oh.
I was like, when I sent my disclaimer, I was specifically thinking about that first couple minutes into it. That is the freakiest by far, I believe.
Because it was very eerie. But once the vampires came, I was like, no, what? It's not too bad. Because
True.
I was getting a sense of the world of the movie. And
Right.
I honestly feel like, and I'm going to argue, the real horror of this film is the Jim Crow era. Period. Like, maybe
it is scary.
don't send a white crowd after me because no one's trying to get lynched, So like,
thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so I went to see Sinners and I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed like the history, just this very black cast. I enjoy seeing dark skinned women getting dicked down. Or fingered.
Tenderly loved.
Tenderly loved.
No,
I thought it was
for real.
funny. Yeah.
So
And
specifically,
the music was so good. Yes.
Interesting.
So I'm excited to really like dive in deep with you guys because you guys are the horror fans. So I'm definitely excited to hear you guys' opinions on it. I'm like excited just to get into this. So where do we want to start? I mean, first we should get a synopsis, and Frankie, Sarah, which one of you want to give us a synopsis of the film?
Frankie, go for it.
Okay, I'm up in here. You have to start with where it takes place, which is in Mississippi. After World War I, 1932, Smoke and Stack pull up this duo, these twins, decked in red and blue, and they pull up to their like childhood hometown, after being in Chicago for a bit of time. And there's this like heavy implication that both of them had something to do with the tension between the Irish mob and the Italian mafia. And it is like so specific down to their costuming. It is like so crazy how much love and care Ryan Coogler put in this. So the twins are pulling up. They want to open a juke joint in their hometown. They recruit all of these funky characters. These characters that help these twins, Smoke and Stack, build a juke joint that is also supported by the raw talent of Sammy, the preacher boy, to the reverend of this hometown, of sharecroppers, sort of plantation era, Jim Crow era, like story of trying to seek freedom. Freedom from religious tensions and religious pressure, freedom from racism in this highly oppressive era. I mean, it continues on, but this so like de jure and de facto oppression of it all. So a succinct sum up is smoke and stack pull up. They want to open this juke joint. They recruit all these people. Sammy has this musical talent of singing the blues to the tension of his father and church upbringing. And it draws in, this musical talent draws in at this juke joint, this evil force. These vampiric creatures, Remick, an Irish vampire, the hive mind master, I guess, trying to leech Sammy's mystical talent of introducing people back with their ancestors from the past and the present and the future, while enjoying this musical talent, this blues music that connects to this like portal to another world. And the vampires do their thing. And we see how this impacts all of these characters, Smoke and Stack, the titular brothers in particular.
That's a great synopsis. Thank you for breaking it down for the people. Who are some of your favorite characters from the movie? I mean, there's at least so many, and each of them play like an important role. But like, for example, Sierra, like, what character did you really find yourself like relating to, and was just excited to see on the screen every time?
Oh my gosh. Well, Sammy, hands down.
Absolutely.
I know that's kind of like, but
a voice.
I think
a baritone.
Absolutely.
I know, Sammy. I think he just the musical part of him mostly. I know, like, that's the kind of music I grew up with. You know, my mom and my grandma were very like, they were no joke when it came to like what kind of music I was listening to. I was listening to classical jazz, you know, old school gospel music, and sometimes blues, like whatever. So I was very like well-rounded, and it's interesting because I like how Sammy kind of had to go through a little bit of maturity, you know, throughout the film. Like first he's just like, I just want to get up out of here. And I think it's interesting how it took something as traumatic as the whole vampires showing up to basically push him into his dreams. And I really that was like, I was very inspired by him. Now, in terms of people that I was attracted to in the film, I know you didn't ask that, but I'm going to say it anyway.
It's true.
I would definitely say the twins, hands down. Like,
Maybe.
Both of them.
Michael B. Jordan?
Both of them. And then I also love Bo.
Oh, Bo can get it.
Bo can get it.
Honestly, guys, I think I'm gonna end up with an Asian man because, like, I don't know why, but like,
listen,
the Koreans, the Chinese, they've been
this.
killing the game right now. They're just so sexy.
Your dating history
It's
as well.
like it's a calling. I can't help it. Anyway,
but you know, it's just that how he just carried himself, and you know, it's just like he just had this kind of low key swag, and I was just
his
like,
voice. His jawline, hair, his eyes,
right? And I'm to play, oh Lord, pun intended, devil's advocate.
Please,
I kind of liked Remick a little bit too.
You know,
I was like, and hear me out. Wait, where's the hear me out cake? Hold up. It was just, I think for me, because I'm such a goofball myself, I love funny villains.
You found Remick
no,
goofy. Okay.
I like
Yes?
funny villains.
Wait.
You know what I mean? Like, I like villains with a sense of humor.
You
So like,
can.
dang, you a really horrible person, but you're mad funny. That's kind of cute. Like
Me? A racist?
You know?
And
Claire?
that line in particular
Like,
was
sir.
funny because people are reflecting like maybe Remick was also like part of Celtic heritage. He was like part Fae as well, and there's rules like they can't lie. So him being like, wherefore equality, to the direct question of like, you Ku Klux Klan members,
like
they were
me.
yes
Right.
yes they were
Right. And And every time he popped up, like, Sammy! Like, that took me out every time. Like, he's like, Sammy! Like, I don't know why. I busted out laughing. I'm, like, scared, and all of a sudden I go, bah! Like, just hit the way he was, it just was entertaining. And that, to me, like, to me, that's attractive when someone's funny. Like, it's like, oh, that's kind of, okay. You know? Like, and I liked that. And again, like, the villain song slaps. Like, no, that Rocky Road to Dublin slaps. I was sitting there like,
you know, listen.
I'd be like, sorry, y'all, I gotta go.
Jig. Like, wait, no one is.
I'd take a bite of garlic and then I'd go out.
Yes.
Nah, stop. I can't. That garlic didn't save nobody.
It was a little spicy.
Be like, finish the song and then bite me.
Like, let me frolic.
Mm-hmm. No, let me frolic. You're funny. You're funny. What about you, Frankie? Who's like one of your favorite characters?
I'm gonna be real. It's Delta Slim. It is.
Oh.
I think
Delroy Lindo,
like, so
I love him.
Powerful.
Yes.
Like his like expression, the way he holds himself, his role in this storyline particular. I think he is just so interesting a character, all the way to that scene where he's riding with Stack and Sammy, and he is discounting this really traumatizing ass experience and then goes straight into this song that is so generational and ancestral, of comfort and self-soothing, because what was happening to Black folks in this time was so twisted and normalized. Like, what were you to do but sing or laugh? You're crying. So love just this character. Attracted to? What the fuck? Annie, why are you fucking asking me shit?
It wasn't a question,
Why
guys.
Are you asking?
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Your question wasn't a question.
I'm just being
about
messy.
Annie.
I know.
Let's hear about Annie.
I don't know if there's anything to say. I don't know if there's anything more to say when you're like someone who has it fully in control, knowledgeable beyond the learned, and honorable, like a knight. This bitch, she's got layers.
Right.
So that is exceptional. But like all of these characters have this crazy like depth and connection to all these things, and it's nice to have media that is like caring about itself, like, rather than please make money.
What about you, Sarah?
So I do have to say I do have appreciation to Delta Slim's story. Like, Delta Slim the character, but then him also talking about how his friend got lynched during Jim Crow. And that's because I was reading the book called Caste, and there was just a lot of examples in that book about lynchings and just the pettiness, right? So like, even the way Ryan Coogler and the scriptwriter was able to capture that pettiness, like, oh, the white people saw that he had money, and then they make up a lie just to justify his death. And there's just so many examples of that in Black America and our American history, of just white people murdering Black people based off lies, based off pettiness, based off jealousy. So I really did appreciate that part, and I appreciated his character. I do have to say, like, my overall favorite character is, I think, I did like Smoke. I like how protective Smoke was. He's definitely a little self-serious, but like, I don't know. Like, I imagine myself, like, with my older brother, or just like when you truly love people, you kind of become protective. Like, you're no nonsense about it. And I did think Michael B. Jordan did a great job with being able to separate the characters Stack and Smoke, because Stack was the charming one. He was rambunctious, and Smoke was definitely the more serious and more like even killed person compared to the two. And I loved the tremor that Michael B. Jordan added to the character, because Smoke was basically, he came back from the war, World War One, harm, so he had a tremor to him. So Stack had to light up his cigarettes, and then Ryan Coogler even added to the lore. Ryan Coogler was at the Met Gala yesterday, and interviewer talked about the style that Stack and Smoke was wearing because they actually represented black. I think dancium,
Dandyism.
dandyism, which is actually that period of time, the 1930s, was when Black Dandyism became popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's Snack and Smoke came from Chicago, where these inner cities is where a lot of Black people kind of find their freedom and found their sense of self away from the South. Even though there was racism that they endured in the North, it was a little different than what the racism they endured in the South, and they were able to wear these suits and be grandest, right? So,
Right.
back to what I was saying about like Ryan Coogler added to the lore is that Stack was the one dressing Smoke because Smoke didn't care about his clothes, but Stack was the
Right.
one putting the outfits together. So maybe I say my favorite characters is the Smoke Stack twins because I really enjoyed both of their personalities and I enjoyed their connection to each other. I think it was a great depiction of like love. Like I think
Yes.
it's in a way like this is like a kind of Sinners kind of had a lot of different love stories kind of playing around, but the greatest love stories was the connections between the brothers and the
Agreed.
way throughout even this particular conflict, but from the stories that we heard throughout their lives, the way they looked out for each other and cared for each other. And I think it's important like to see Black men caring for each other on television, you
For
know?
sure.
So I really, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then also Smoke killed the clan, and I just had there was so much
Oh
joy
yeah,
in that
that
scene.
that
Cathartic.
sold it for me.
There was so much. It was cathartic. Just like shoot him up, please shoot him up. Like,
I thought
Yes.
that both
It
of
was
them.
therapeutic. Not gonna lie.
Yes, I thought that both of them like really emulated the stereotypes and some of the ways like Black masculinity is like what's the word? Like yeah, like stereotyped. So there was some of the like subversion of that through that tenderness, through that care of one another. But also then Stack is out here being like, ah man, wish wish you weren't like in the aggrandizing masculinity like macho shit right now. Like chill. Which there you go, the balance.
Right.
yeah, for sure. So like going off from the characters, right? Is there any characters that like? Okay, I feel like there's a couple. I think me was definitely like Mary, but just kind of like pissed you not the fuck off, but just like why y'all niggas doing this?
It has yes. It's been I think controversial right now. Mary's character is like, oh my god, please.
Also, the social media discussions around her, guys. This is a white woman who's a quadroon at best. You know what I mean? Like she was not biracial. She was even like a quarter black. Her
I was
mama,
No.
gonna say there was something.
her mama's daddy was half black,
Yeah, her
black or
grandfather
black.
was, I thought half,
He had a drop.
which is very much like, I looked it up, it was like tetradecaroon, because it's like 1/16 or some shit. And I was like, absolutely. That
That's
feels
Now,
it.
it's the 1930s, right?
One drop
So a drop
is
is a
real.
drop. And she grew up around the black community. But it's really annoying how people on social media acting like this woman's black. Like, guys, stop the
No.
nonsense.
She has the power to very much Emmett Till, a young person of who's black.
Yes.
So that is a different sort of power, I believe, and protection.
Yeah.
For sure.
So when I see Mary and like that storyline too, I'm like, I don't even know what the actress is about. It could really be down to that, and then I have to grapple with like how I feel about that in a realistic situation. That like, are you black? And it's like, yes, but what? But not in a way that you're like informed by blackness in generations past. How about that? But other than that,
And like the actress herself has a similar story. So her her grandfather is half black, half Filipino,
So
right?
exactly, yeah.
So it's giving quadroom in real life. I don't even know if that's the right name for it, but
No,
it's not. She's not a black woman.
It's an ancient name,
No.
but it is just like funny in context.
It really is. But no, I think what bothered me about Mary's character was when the moment she enacted her privilege, and I feel like the main one for me personally, not even what happened at the juke joint, but the fucking train station. When she went over to Stack
That was kind of scary to
in
me.
front of these like. Yeah, like why are you talking to him in public and you're kind of loud?
Yep.
You know, if the wrong people look your way, it's over for him.
If they are overheard, but even if they aren't overheard, exactly, if they are looked at, they can just lie. And people die because of it. So it's like, oh my god. She did that. I was scared. I was like, oh my god, of course. Like, chill out. Do a little look.
It was funny though.
She talked her shit though.
No,
I can't take that away from her.
I was like, ooh.
Like, what's the word she used for not coosh? Put in my coochie, or what word did she use? Coos. Bring back.
That was
bring back
elegant.
the
That was
word
elegant.
coos. That was fun. It's a lot less. It's a lot more elegant. It's a lot less not gauche, but what's the word? It's
raunchy.
Raunchy. Like coos. Coos is like you put in my coos. Like
I said, not the coos.
I was like,
Okay,
there was
coos.
research here.
But that was definitely the moment that, like, ooh, Mary, I don't like the way you moving, girl. Because if you really love this man, you wouldn't put his life at risk.
Exactly.
I mean, curse him out. But find a private place to curse his ass out. Like, you know he's back in town. You know where he's probably at. Go find him and curse his ass out.
Right. I have to say that I agree. Like, with Mary, even when now Smoke had just said, we're not letting them in. Like, we're not letting these people in. They're weird. I don't care what kind of music they're playing. But yet, what did, Mary do? What white women do? Went behind the backs and play an ally and went to, the weakest link, a.k.a. Stack, and was like, hey, used her little,
Woman wild.
I can save you all.
Yeah, they're not going to say nothing to me.
Savior.
And I can convince him. Right. And he fell for it. So my mom actually even said this. She said it kind of, nods true to nowadays.
Yes, absolutely.
Black men fall for the, certain words and things, and then they end up running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
I mean,
Hey,
so
Mr.
do they
Sharp,
fall for it,
for real.
or do they want that? Because Jonathan Majors,
I think
they want that, and also Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, well,
they
want it, but they fall for it.
Because
because the red flags are present. I'm sorry, y'all playing. Them red flags are pleasant. Even the moment she pulled up on Stack, I said,
exactly. That was crazy.
Look at her.
That was crazy.
Red flag.
That was red flag.
Right.
And this moment was like
a scene or after a scene where they're talking about, or Delta is talking about his experience just existing. It's very much like, girl.
It was after the scene.
Yes. Well,
but that's why, like,
right. But and I think that I thought it was interesting that every time the characters turned, to vampires, they wouldn't listen to Annie. They didn't go up against Annie, but they were always like, nah, don't listen to Annie. Don't listen to her. You're going to let her come between it. Like, they said the same thing. And I thought that was very interesting. Like, Remick didn't confront Annie. And I'm like, because they know.
He was stressed.
Right. They know that she knows that they know. So I thought that was pretty. I think that actually really displayed another part of Annie's badass character.
For real.
Like, wow. Like, oh, she's not playing. Like, oh, okay. Because I'm like, them vampires didn't talk to,
No.
They talked to Sammy. They talked to these, but they didn't mess with Annie. They didn't say, hey, Annie, come out here.
And what was a crazy, other thing is how the rest of the party was so like, oh, never mind. And whatever, like, manipulation there was. As soon as, like, they said that Annie was not, like, they didn't trust Annie, don't listen to Annie. So that was another like indicator of like the power that she holds, the trust that she holds, and it's like, love that.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh, actually,
Right.
wait a damn moment. You should be listening to Annie. You're crazy.
Right. It's almost like, so when black women speak, we should listen, huh?
We're not.
I love this
every
lesson.
episode, we bring it back to that.
I think that's what they come for.
It's a pattern. It's just a pattern that is just like, y'all, it's not clicking yet, so we gotta tell y'all in movie form. Okay.
Every podcast episode, y'all gonna hear us say, listen to black women.
It's gotta
But it's
sound advice.
But see, look who survived. Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, technically, he didn't survive. But she got to be back with her kid.
It's like, I guess it's like, look who got the happy...
And she was ready.
Or the peace,
Oh, okay.
Ending,
Yes.
whether it is being alive. I mean, is there it's twisted. Is there freedom during this time in being a black person who's dead?
Is it freedom at all?
By God.
Nope.
So I really think the depth
death
of
is
it
freedom, in a sense.
for her ending, heavenly, in another portal of the, experience of human diversity, baby in hand, that would be dead in reality or the living world. Like, it's just, there's something about that. Like, she still got that, but also the way that was the dark reality for that time period.
So
what did...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but it just reminded me of Black Panther. What did Killmonger say?
Yeah.
Even our ancestors knew that death was better than bondage. Like, I'm like, oh.
Discernment.
Twisted. But
wow.
true.
That's deep. But it's true.
Well, drown themselves. Fully.
So I think we're going to come back to this conversation about freedom. But I do want to kind of like speed us up and bring us to the juke joint, right? Like, here we are at the one moment where we get to see black people experience like raw joy, right? They're dancing, they're getting laid, they're having,
There's layers of all this freedom of that night.
People's buttons are being pushed.
Pushed, indeed.
And the movie is called Sinners, and I think there's 7 deadly sins, right? There's lust, gluttony, greed, vanity.
Vanity,
sloth.
I think it is. Yeah.
Let's look it up.
Sloth.
Sloth, yes. Sloth, wrath,
envy.
and did we get it all?
Oh, which is
so there's pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth. So those are the 7 deadly sins. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, when we think about our character, it's like, which sin does each character like represent? Or does Annie, like, I feel like Annie doesn't have a sin that represents anything. Like, I can't see her in this list.
Yeah.
But I feel like, let's see.
She has been seen heavenly.
Perlene was lust.
Absolutely.
For sure. Perlene was lust. Maybe, I would say Stack was greed.
Yes.
Was envy up in there?
I think Bloss was cornbread.
That's gluttony.
Smoke was pride. Gluttony, you just eat a lot. Like,
no, I said
overindulge.
I said that's gluttony for cornbread, but I didn't really specify. He's got to be gluttony. I think Delta is sloth.
Ooh.
Oh.
Because he's like,
I like that.
I will. Well, maybe it is the
I feel
switch
like
around.
Delta is gluttony.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Delta was really, at least overindulging in alcohol to, deal with his trauma.
I was like mid-sentence.
Which is one of the saddest parts of the movie was when he was talking about, like, I don't want to get too big, so that's why I rather get alcohol than money. I was like, oh, baby.
It's another world to live in.
They did a number on you. Yes, but I would say, like, Delta would be gluttony and cornbread because bitch had one job. Okay.
He was lollygagging.
Yeah, well, and he had to go and pee from the farthest fucking tree in no goddamn area.
That's that cornbread. That's that cornbread.
Fully. So much so that sloth be hitting, he can't even extend his arm. What is this all? What is this?
Mm.
Ugh, ugh. But yeah, so we're in the juke joint, and we have these two beautiful musical numbers. First, we have Sammy's "I Lied to You" performance, which is this transcendent moment
Transcendent. The
where
word.
Ryan Coogler adds different musical numbers and dancers from different periods of time and different
Mm.
cultures to really represent that Sammy's voice is so his musical skill is so transcendent that he's literally bringing all these different genres and different timelines together. And this is what Remnick sees. And Remnick, I would say that motherfucker greedy as hell was like, oh, I need to have that.
We believe in equality, but I do want to
Yes.
possess you. I want to
Period.
possess in multiple ways.
Right.
So,
I want to share this.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But how do you guys feel about Sammy's musical number? And then we can talk about Perline's musical number.
Um, Sammy's. So I was the first one out of the three of us that
She
saw
did.
Sinners,
She gave a great
and
review.
because I was like, I said that I didn't have the words. Like I was listening to it, and I already had chills when he was talking and playing.
Yes.
But when the hip hop beat came in, and then I saw the DJ, I was like,
We saw Grandmaster Flash.
"Oh, they're going there."
All of it pulling
Right,
together.
and then we see our and I feel bad because I don't know the specific name for the tribe that this dancer belonged to, so I don't want to be disrespectful. But when I saw the African representation of the different, and not just one particular like time period of it, but just different like throughout the years, and not just one tribe, because I know somebody said that each dancer that showed up was from a different tribe. It wasn't all the same tribe. So I thought
Wait,
that
Sarah,
was
you
pretty.
cut out.
Uh-oh. Sorry, it turned
Oh my
off.
God, don't worry.
Okay. I thought that was pretty. I thought the depiction of different tribes was crazy, and then for Grace and Bo, their culture, beautiful, the geisha, and then the I know there's a name for them too, but again, I'm blanking out on the name. The warrior, I guess you could say, with his dancing, but it's a warfare dance, so it's not just dancing, it's actually like a backup, and then you have like the modern like twerking, in the kitchen, and I thought that was so cool. But I think the part that really like caused me to sob was the ballet dancer. That moment, I started bawling, because as somebody who grew up as the only black girl in in a ballet class, it was hard to stay in it. So that moment for me was almost like a hug to like my younger self. Like, see, like this is what comes out of that. All that time that you spent. Look at what it is on the screen, and just that representation of a black ballerina was just like, oh my God. So that the experience, and then him singing, and just everybody just kind of doing their own thing. It just was really like, I just cried the entire scene, because I'm just like, oh my God, that was beautiful. It was just amazing.
No, I think you described it like perfectly. And like Sammy represent the griots of, I guess, of that time, right? So
Yes,
everyone else we
yes.
saw were like the griots. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Griot, the griot
Mm-hmm.
of their time. And it was really cool to see
Yep.
them all come together. And I always felt like music can be such like a spiritual experience. Like when you hear a really good song and you're just entranced in it. So it was really
Mm-hmm.
I think Ryan Coogler really captured that well on screen. And again,
Yes.
Sammy, that baritone. That
Yeah.
And
baritone.
he's so young
It's
too
just
with it. Like imagine him at like Andre
yes.
de Shield's
Yeah.
age, old 77, with that
Mm-hmm.
experience.
I love a deep voice.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Deep voices matter. So no,
Facts.
I think that was a beautiful scene. And then we have just
Mm-hmm.
suppose Perline's very sexy,
I loved
sensual,
it.
dramatic scene,
Mm-hmm.
song performance of Pale Pale Moon, which I have to say
Mm-hmm.
is my favorite song on the
That's a good one.
soundtrack.
I think
Like,
That's a
I
good
think
one.
so for me as well. Although I love
mm,
the like final song that we hear. I don't even remember.
Oh, and then
And the last time, and the wrong time, the right
yes, for the
time.
last time. Yep.
I will investigate that title.
Yep. The
But
last time I saw my brother. That's what it's called.
mm.
last time I
The
saw
song
the
has so
sun.
many,
Last time I saw the
the shit
sun.
movie has so many layers. Last time I saw the sun, yeah.
The sun. The sun.
I was like
Yes.
thinking, I was like, the
But
lyric.
no,
Yeah.
Perline's musical moment comes into this, like, I guess this heightened moment, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
so Mary's ass, she went out to talk to the vampires because she had to go talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and of
it's very
course they
much
turned
Right.
into a
white
vampire.
women, they're not scared of anything type trope.
They need to
It
start being
comes
scared.
out sometimes.
Okay.
Did you just start being scared?
Now, Cornbread, in his defense, he doesn't know that Mary isn't a vampire, so he let her ass back in, and she comes in
Right.
looking good, baby. That dress, yeah, the way her being a vampire is very sexy and sensual, and you have Perline in the
Mm-hmm.
background just singing,
Full.
and then
She
she
was
walks
juiced
up to
up.
Stack's ass. And she's like, baby, let me take the room. And then they get in the room, and we get a scene of her riding this man to the heavens. And then when we come back in on them, she's killing this man dead.
Hmm.
So she's biting this man to the
She
death,
is
right? So,
Yeah.
sexually, physically absorbing him in so many
hmm
Mm-hmm.
freaktastic ways. I did not know Sinners was going to be this freaky when I, came into this theater. But I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm.
It's
no,
storytelling.
truly. And then the way that the song Pale Pale Moon like works in this moment, it really builds up that tension, and the chanting in the
Hmm.
Yes.
background, it really just adds to the pounding
The
of it.
stomping,
So about
the beat.
time
Yes.
Stack
Pun intended.
Stack sees that Mary is killing, Smoke sees that Mary's killing Stack, and he lights her up.
Absolutely.
Right.
It was like that was at the end of the song after this like amazing chant that just kind of went off, and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
this song was well done, well performed.
Yeah.
It was animalistic in a way, like it was just like the
Yes.
Yes.
sexual
Literally
tension, the
lyrics.
tension that song brought to that scene was
I want
amazing.
to scream
Yep.
like
That's what
wildcats
happens when you
do.
hit that button. Right.
And hey.
Yeah,
And hey.
hey,
Exactly.
shout out to Sammy.
And that the lyrics of that song in particular is such like a warning shot. Like, I don't care till the sun don't shine. I don't
Yes.
care if the sun don't shine once more. Like, it's that want for
Ain't no
freedom.
love in the heat of the sun. Keep on working till the dollar's won. From the crow of the rooster to the morning dove, sing my song when the day is done. Ain't no love in the heat of the sun. Like she's rejecting the sun. It's like,
Hmm.
baby, no, you want the sun to come out because there's vampires
But the
outside.
vampires are like, sing it, honey. You're right.
She's literally chanting the sun away. She's like, sun, you better not come back. We want the moon. I'm like,
Oh,
But the
Mr.
sun
y'all
means
need the fucking
the
sun.
sun means work. The sun means having to acquiesce to, oppression and subjugation to get that dollar, and ain't no love
Right.
in the heat of the sun. So if it's night forever, that's freedom, right? And Remek hears this and is like, right, that's right. Come on down. I feel that. It is crazy. We're going to talk more about him being Irish and what that meant too, which I'm excited about.
So now we're at this part where essentially, Smoke just lost his brother. He's holding on to him. Andy's trying to be like, yo, put him outside. But he's like, no. So they locked. Mary just ran out demonically. I'm saying she's going to kill them all. Like,
we gonna
okay.
kill
We gonna kill every last one of y'all.
Twisted.
We didn't mention these two characters, but we did mention them briefly. But we talked about Grace and Bo because I do think they are essential to the story. And Grace and Bo is a Chinese American immigrants who, I think they're, in this case, they might be first generation, but they both own stores within the Mississippi Delta. So Grace, who is the wife of Bo, owns the White store. I mean, they both own these stores together. She owns the White store, which is right across the street from the store that Bo own, which is the Black store.
Segregated streets and
yes,
so like being able to wiggle between both worlds.
yes.
Yeah.
And it spoke true to reality because there were a lot of Chinese immigrants in the Mississippi Delta in the 1930s. And Ryan Coogler, I forgot who he worked with, but he worked with a woman who wrote a documentary based off this truth. So he had her come in to really give truth to this reality that was the Chinese Mississippi Delta people, right? And Bo and Smoke and Stat, they survived the war together, so they had a really close relationship. And Grace had a good relationship with the boys. But so at this point, they're at the juke joint because um they helped set up the juke joint and
They're
gave some
supplying
stuff
it
to
all. And it's
gave supplies.
interesting,
Yes,
the power differential and how that turns up
yes,
in like priorities for them when it really hits the fan.
Right.
yeah. So when it hits the fan, Grace looks at Bo, sexy ass, and she tells him, "Baby, go get the car." Okay, and Bo,
Right.
sexy ass, listen to his wife go gets the car, and by this point, everyone who has left that goddamn juke joint is a motherfucking vampire.
Oh, they're gone.
So Bo
Yeah.
be kissing goodbye. And I guess I want to bring them up because there is a moment where we have multiple funny interactions with the vampires, and it's clear that the only way the vampires can get in is if you invite them in. They can't come across this line without being invited. So,
Right.
in the climax of the movie, Grace, after seeing that Bo has been turned, and then Remick is crazy because he starts speaking Chinese to her,
Oh my god.
I was like,
Oh my god.
threatening her kids,
Metaphorically and
it was insane.
physically.
when he said, "I know how you like to be licked," I was done.
And the way that, like, what did that hive mind conversation even look like? Hey, Bo, how do you say this about your wife? Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he should just, since Bo is now in the hive, he can just speak
He could just
Chinese.
do it, yeah.
That's what I would like to believe. He just got the power.
Yeah.
But in this climax, Grace just saw that her husband was dead. Her child just got threatened. And she has this moment of deep fear where she's just like, okay, they can't get my kid. We just got to let him in. And this dumb bitch lets him in. She's like, come get us.
Hey.
All the black people are like, wait a minute. We did not say that. She is not a part of the crew.
I think there was an
But the
integral
vampires come in.
need to, like, push. And I feel like there's some very valid arguments about, like, the power of a mother's love and, like, all that ish.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
because he's
Right.
manipulating. But it is very much like, for real,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. So in social media, there's a very interesting conversation about this, right? Because Ryan Coogler really put Grace's character as like, this is the power of her love. Like, her love for her child caused her to allow the vampires in. But the black community is like, see, this is why we don't have Asian people.
No one's invited to the cookout. No one.
Right.
Sorry.
No one. The black community, at least on social media, is like, this is why we can't have an ally. This is why we can't have nice things. Because y'all can't be trusted.
It does remind me of that, like, social moment where the Black Lives Matter movement was really, like, kicking up, especially after these, like, senseless police violence deaths. And then other people of color were going up, well, where's our lives matter? And it's like, what are we supposed to do? What do you mean? What are we supposed to do about that? Where is it? Exactly.
Right.
So there was that conversation for a while, and it's kind of echoed through this moment of like, okay, yeah, invite them in. Great.
Which is very unintentional. Like, I do want to admit, like, Ryan Coogler did not mean to put heat on this character, Grace. But unintentionally, he put heat on her. And these are his own words. Like, he made it clear, like, she was just doing this because she's a mother. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so it brought up a great conversation about allyship. And I think we kind of touched upon it with Mary too. It's just like sometimes allyship doesn't translate the way that we need it to. It's like, oh, we appreciate you trying to help us, but sometimes you're not very helpful and you actually are leading us to our deaths.
It's always making decisions for us is the
it's not really
precipice.
listening.
Right. Yeah. Speaking on experiences that you've never had to experience, well, this is the way I would do it. It's like, okay, hi, you are a white woman in Mississippi.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, exactly. It's like, I'm pretty sure they just found Emmett Till's body. But hey, sure, we're going to listen to you. Yeah. Okay. But tell everybody that I licked your coos.
Oh my God.
Tell everybody. Because
the depth to it.
I was like, bro, what the?
Stand down.
Emmett Till was at least 20 years later, but enough black boys passed away anyway, regardless.
Right.
So at that point.
It's right. I
mean, the policing of, or the use of lynching as policing after, like, chattel slavery, or the ratification of the 13th Amendment was, like, so specific. It was like this ritual of, like, there is this conversation about whiteness being a empty sort of culture because of the, like, rules and stipulations in the history of colonization and all that. So that means, like, there is this wanting to, like, absorb other cultures, and literally down to lynching, down to cutting off genitalia, eating these bodies. The history is, like, bananas. And Ryan Coogler said, and Delta literally talked about that in the car. He's like, yeah, they lynched him, and then they cut off his, and he makes some euphemism. And yeah, I had a hard time listening to this man, or hearing this man, I should say, throughout that whole film. I was like, where are the subtitles, please?
No, honestly, because the accents were really good, but it definitely, a lot of people were mumbling, and we needed some subtitles.
It was amazing, but I was fighting.
Yeah.
It would be nice. Captains,
and that's
for everything.
So funny. Right. And that's so funny because it's like, there's me, who my grandmother was born in Natchez, Mississippi, and the whole reason why she moved out of Mississippi was because of what was going on. You know, her and her family, they moved to Chicago, and so now all our family is in Chicago. So it's just so weird as I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, is this my family?
Girl,
like,
we might be cousins because that's a similar story. My dad's side of the family, and my grandmother born in Mississippi too, Bruce County.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and she lives in Chicago with
my God.
aunt. Yeah, so it's very interesting.
South Side?
They live in Oak Park, so they live on the outskirts of Chicago.
Oh, so that, I know exactly
God.
What that is. Yeah.
The layers.
So isn't that crazy? The layers.
That is very crazy.
It feels like
yeah, so
that Mississippi to Chicago pipeline be strong, you know?
Listen. Oh, and also, before we go on, we missed somebody, and I can feel my ancestors shooting arrows at my head as we speak. We cannot go on without talking about our Choctaw people. Okay?
Exactly. Who showed up to say the truth, and then immediately said, okay.
And left.
Good luck.
They tried to offer help.
Let me mind that.
Like, listen, we will help you out.
The sun setting? Let me mind that.
Yeah, that was the start of this. Like, so
yes.
I know, y'all. Rewind.
We're going everywhere.
That was what really.
We're jumping all places.
That is what really. Yep. That was what really, like, did that for me in this movie, because it's rare that you ever usually see Native American representation in films unless it's negative, right? Or if it's something stereotypical. But it's the fact that when they showed up on the screen, I audibly gasped. Like, oh, what?
And they look nice too.
Like,
they were dripped down.
And they look sharp. What? I said, oh, y'all are dripped out. I hear you.
Their horses were gorgeous too.
People who know about bathing before they're
what cracks me up is
colonizers.
They weren't even phased. The chief, the leader, who pulled up and was like, hey, listen, there's some dude running around. He ain't cool. And he was not phased by homegirl with the shotgun. That's what was my favorite. Like, he didn't blink. He was like, all right, cool, whatever. Just so you know, there's a white man wandering around. You might want to... And his, homeboy behind him's like, hey, yo, we got to get up out of here. Sun's about to go down. He's like, well, see ya. Like, to me, that was iconic. I was like,
that's all, folks.
Beautiful, beautiful.
A great lesson in like minding your business is like, okay, I try to warn you.
I know how to protect myself.
Right.
In the same way Miss Annie knew how to use these mojo bags, how to have this spiritual practice and connection to ancestors in order to ward off MFers. They said, all right, it's been good. Right. I know what I'm doing.
Right. Yes. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to drop that nugget in before we moved.
Yes.
Far. far. But.
Okay, so, so we're talking about like, okay, so this movie is a film with vampires, right? Like, I think watched a couple interviews with Ryan Coogler. He kind of like made that a point. Like, this is a film with vampires.
Yes.
And we were talking about like the other horrors being Jim Crow. But also I think there's something interesting about like the Irish role in this, right? And just how basically Remnick represent this other culture who also went through colonization and who also suffered from colonial violence, and that violence forced him to become the thing he kind of hated,
But I feel like it also sort of speaks to the history of Irish people being considered part of the ruling class of whiteness. Because for a while, it was so different. You were other. You were not what is an accepted and reasonable form of whiteness because of your religious beliefs, because of your paganism, because of this, that, and a fourth. And also for the fact that you are destitute. You're not adding anything, because these are people coming in like from the potato famine, trying to immigrate and what are immigrants always made out to be? The bad guy to the American people. So then the Irish get like
our favorite trope.
They get no Irish need apply signs, sort of echoes of Jim Crow into this same era. And Remick but also of that era, Irish folks kind of got their moment in the sun when there were more like acceptance of like conservative parties that like lobbied for like the Chinese Exclusion Act, and like, oh, but there's other immigrants that we could be like focusing. There's something beyond ourselves, and we kind of look like you. So there's like this twisted history, and there's also Irish folks that did not believe and did not follow these political movements. All the layers, but like it's very interesting to see Remick
especially
bring that in and become exactly what you said, what he hates. Echoes.
No, for real. I like how you bring up the part like how the Irish kind of got their moment in the sun, right? Because the project of whiteness will always be the main goal, right? To protect whiteness. And the Irish and even the Italians got the ability to be white because it preserved the overall project of whiteness.
The vision.
Because especially when slavery ended and there were more black people than there honestly was white people, like at that time.
Oh my God.
So they had to
like,
expand
this majority of
the
labor.
Membership. They had to they had to expand the membership. So they had to allow the Irish and the Italian and the Armenians and these other European immigrants, they had to eventually allow them in order to preserve whiteness. But I think it's interesting how we don't know what period Remick comes from, because he could be an Irish immigrant from like slavery times or like the indentured servitude times, or he could be an Irish immigrant that like came off the boat maybe 2 decades before the 1930s. You know what I mean? Like we don't really, they never really gave us a time of where Remick came from. We just know that he wanted things to be colonized. That's one thing for sure. That he experienced the dehumanization, whether it was from the British, I think mostly from the British, because they too tried to force Christianity upon the Irish people. And that was actually the most scariest scene is when he was speaking a Bible verse to Sammy, repeating or finishing
Yeah,
the
the
Bible
Our
verse
Father.
that Sammy was
Mm-hmm.
saying. And I think that's the moment that
Yeah.
Sammy himself realized, like, oh, Christianity and me, like they're like that's not gonna save me, right?
There's a little bit of
Yeah.
um understanding that anyone can use these words, but there is power in the
Yes.
like in the faith and the belief and the spiritual
Mm,
connection outside of what was imposed on you. It's also connected, I feel, with African spirituality and what you had to bring over. It's kind of like,
mm,
sure, we'll use this Christianity skin on top of things that belong to us in the, you know, in the enslaved folks' housing, in the churches, in the black churches where you don't see us. Like, I think there is something there, while also being like, that's what I felt too. Like, oh, this isn't, I have to make my choice about how I want to inform my life.
Yeah. Um, I it's funny. Me and my another friend of mine. I've told her because she doesn't like
Mm,
horror movies either. Um, and she's so very much like, listen, I don't play that mess. I ain't going to see nothing
mm,
scary, nothing demonic. I ain't doing it.
yes.
And I said, no, listen, you will appreciate this movie. I'm telling you, you're gonna appreciate it because she's a Christian and she's very her discernment goes crazy, so she likes that kind of stuff. Like she's
Mm,
heavy into it.
like media
So
interpretation.
when yeah, so when Remick started reciting, the Lord's Prayer at the like right after Sammy was doing it, she said that moment a lot of people, if I said this to the Christian community, I was saying Black Christian community, I said, you know what, we forget, and this is something that we're told when we're young, is that even the devil knows the word. He was an
Mm,
angel at one point. So of course he knows
mm,
the Lord's Prayer. Duh, he was there probably when it was made up.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, but he was there. He knows. So it wasn't when he started reciting it, I said, "Oh, junk," like because I'm said, see, there's that part where it's like, yeah, I'm Irish and this is what was forced on me, but then there's the side of like, dude, come on, I've heard this 1,000 times and it did nothing before, so what do you think it's gonna do
Mm,
now? What do you think it's gonna do for you now? Look what happened when your people said it, when my people said it. Did it really work? Like it was a moment that was like, whew, that's heavy. You know what I mean? So it just, I definitely, because she said that, she was like, that was heavy. I said, right?
it's
You
very
see,
much
it
the
really,
he's not, no one's gonna save
yeah,
you sort of message of the film. So what are you
yes,
gonna
mm.
do?
yes, and that was heavy, right? What are you gonna choose? So it was
Mm.
definitely a moment that really made me kind of sit back in the theater. I'm like, oh dang, y'all went there. Okay,
Mm,
all right.
Mm. So, because I do want to kind of wrap this up soon, because we can sit here and speak for 5 hours, guys, right? But what is there any other like themes or feelings about this movie that you want to talk about? Because I definitely want to end on the question of like, what is freedom, and do you feel free or are you free? But is there any other themes about this movie that popped out to you before we end on that question?
that is a great question. I feel like we really went in on it. Um,
I I would say this. We gotta talk about the colorism, at
oh,
least the social media of it.
yes.
Because the
Oh.
way people, so when I saw the movie, well, okay, first of all, I on Threads looked at a bunch of spoilers because I don't really give a fuck. At the time, I wasn't planning on seeing it, so I was using the spoilers as the way to figure out what the
Yes,
movie was about,
and motivate
right?
you if you wanted to try and
Mhm.
see it, because if it was just senseless, like one after the other gore or
Murders.
like horror elements, that can be quite difficult. It's like, do I really want that?
Mhm.
And at least my side of my algorithm, great, I have no, I be blocking people. I really have perfected my algorithm for peace. So it
Mhm.
was shocking to find
Right.
out that other people were witnessing on their algorithms that people were shocked that Michael B. Jordan was in bed with Annie, or there was
Bruh. Oh
they
my
thought that was
god.
his auntie. That they thought they were his
The
mother.
TikTok or
They were shocked when he bent her
the reel
over.
that was
I'm
like,
like, are y'all
oh
okay?
my god, like you were. Imagine me being confused that, you know, they were making him get with his mother. Mother?
It's like, what?
It's just like this
It's
disconnect
just want to be
with
like,
reality.
really? Because I'm like, how did some of y'all get here? Look at your moms. They look like Annie.
Because, I mean, and I think we all can agree, is that media, especially movies, have made out black women, especially dark-skinned black women, to be like, there can't possibly be a leading plus-size dark-skinned black woman who has a masculine, you know, picture perfect, you know, hot man. Like, there's no way she can be the leading loving lady. It's like,
make it make sense.
People hate themselves.
like what? Like, I was like, duh. Like, when I saw that pop on the screen, I was like,
get it.
Hell yeah. Like,
your body didn't forget me.
And you know, another thing is, why are folks so like twisted when a romantic like partnership is between people of the same age? We have been conditioned to have this young, rakish woman be the other party in a romantic relationship in Hollywood, and this obviously older dude that they're trying to pass off as
sometimes it gives pedophilia.
Exactly. It gives, get used to this.
It's almost like
there's something going down.
Why don't that woman, like, it's okay to fuck a woman your own age.
Wouldn't we?
Sincerely.
And Michael B. Jordan are both 38. And folks are out of their mind with the fact that they are romantic interests. It is misogynoir.
Right. They're really trying to play in her face, act like she looked old or something. Like, no, she did not.
I was like, what, bro? Listen, that's my homegirl from Lovecraft County, so we're not gonna do that.
Should I watch that? Like, is that horror film?
It is.
Because I heard great things about that too.
It's like Sinners.
It is. There's gore.
Basically like Sinners.
There's stuff like that, and it is. There's psychological stuff, but it's that could be another episode.
It's good. It's so good.
Okay, I might have to dip
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Not to derail, but just the connections.
No night watches.
Exactly.
All right, so
right.
To talk about it, what is freedom, right? So Sammy was talking about at the very end, like before the day ended, before the night started, that was the best day of his life. Hanging out with his cousins, riding that nice car, trying to get the juke joint together. Like the fact that they worked together all in this one day just to set up this juke joint so they can feel free during the night. Really spoke to something, you know? And it really got me thinking about like freedom in not just even as a Black American, but just as a person in general. What is freedom? Like, do we truly know what freedom feels like? Is something that we will ever truly experience? Like, or is freedom what you make of it? Like, I don't know. I think that's an interesting thing to ponder, you know?
It's definitely that question that was posed when talking about Annie's like final appearance, which is like, are you ever truly free under the thumb of these eternal feeling, but not eternal, systems of oppression, subjugation, pain, like psychic torture? Is there ever a piece of freedom in that, and what does it look like? And I think Sinners gives that with I Lied to You and Sammy's juke joint performance. And I feel like freedom is about finding those moments of synergy and community, and grief is not meant to be shared alone. On the day-to-day, where grief is a close friend, then you have to be surrounded by some sort of community and joyousness and ritual.
Mm.
Freedom is with other people. That's my answer.
Ooh.
I like that. I think freedom is being able to do what you love. Period. I think, and even I go back to Sammy, being able to grow up and do what you love. Yes, it came at an unfortunate cost. However, sometimes to get what you want, you got to go through some trauma. And that's just, unfortunately, sometimes that's just how life is. You know, it may not go exactly how you want it, but that doesn't mean you're never going to get it, you know? And I think that there comes again, back to this whole maturity thing where he had to go through a little bit of maturity to kind of go, okay, you know what? This is what I want. I'm not going to live by what other people want me to do. I'm going to do what makes me happy. I know where my gifts came from. I know what they are. I've learned something and I'm going to do it because this is what makes me happy. And I think that doing what makes you happy, there's a freedom in it. If you're not happy, then you're not free.
He's seen the mountaintop.
We didn't land on purpose.
How about you, Sarah?
You know, honestly, this question is hard for me because think I don't think as a Black person I've ever like truly experienced freedom. I don't think most humans will. Like, maybe I do think freedom is probably death in a way. Like,
Come
but
on,
also
Aquarius.
getting to choose how you die. I
Yeah.
think so. I'm sorry. Yeah, like getting to choose how you die, right? Like I think about. I don't know. I think living life is just it just feels long and hard, and I don't know if I. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know if I ever feel like this is so depressing. I'm so sorry.
Listen, you are talking about something.
It's a laugh.
Oh,
Like,
I think that is something that informs like why people turn to religion, dude. So it's not. I don't think it is a uncommon opinion, but it.
No,
but
no,
it is
no,
so
it's
like.
okay. No, not at all.
You said
just,
F this life.
You went there, and I'm
exactly.
like, you know what?
Yeah, no, that might be my depression talking. Listen. No. Okay. Let me circle it back.
Yeah, let's dive back in.
I'm not suicidal, y'all.
But I think the conversation.
If you guys are listening to this, please cash out.
Okay.
The conversation about death is real, though. Death as release. We'll find something on the other side when we have been caught up.
You are loved. If you are listening, you are loved. Please.
You think it's so fun.
Now we got our listening ears on. Let's talk about freedom, Sarah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To inject some levity, I do think if you have a sense of agency in your life, maybe you're experiencing freedom. And maybe I'm just coming from a place of a person who doesn't feel like I have a lot of agency in my life, and I'm trying to get agency in my life.
Real.
So maybe that's why I have a darker feeling about freedom. I do think.
Hey, but that's real.
White supremacy, and racism. I do think it's getting to me, and though I have to say I haven't really experienced a lot of overt racism. And I would say, as far as my people go, I'm definitely on the luckier side of my people, as in Black people, you know. But it is. I mean, this has come off again reading books like Caste, The New Jim Crow, and just seeing the way American society in particular treats Black Americans and treats Black people and just treats people of color. It can be really depressing, and it can make it feel like, oh damn, like these systems are bigger than us, and they just feel like there's nothing we can do to overcome it. And honestly, it just feels like we're at the mercy of white people because truly, we're never gonna get free if they don't give a fuck to free us. Like, I'm so sorry.
There it goes. There it goes again.
But I understand this feeling of like, we have to fight so hard to find these moments of like clarity and connection to oneself, and like the fact that just because we are told we are not free, we experience these systems that trap us. There's also these moments of like, spiritually, we've always been here, we will always be here, and we make life worth living, which kind of goes into my thing, together. And it is just not fucking it. This is not the end. Let's rise.
I thank you for that note, Frankie, for bringing us up. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Baby, I love you.
And on that note, I have a therapist. I'm gonna be fine.
Lighters up.
We will be checking on her, trust me. It's okay. All jokes aside, listeners, you are loved. Find somebody, find your support group. You know what I mean? This is, we're laughing, but it's you laugh
find
to
your
keep
comfort
crying,
movie. Mine's gonna be Sinners for a while.
I always liked watching Cheetah Girls,
I was gonna say, let's get away from the dark and the slasher.
Yeah.
We are sisters.
Into the light.
Stick together.
Wait, literally, don't go into the light. Don't go into the light.
Okay. Y'all got me until I die by natural causes.
Yes. But Sinners is a film that really makes us reflect on freedom, and it shows us all these different ways to like experience that, especially during these dark ass times in segregation after chattel slavery. I think this is a shout out for, from Ryan Coogler to like find your freedom and find your connection to that fighting spirit of wanting to stay alive throughout all of the evils, because there are things to do spiritually, ancestrally. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. I'm going to drink some tea. I'll be fine.
All right, bye.
Y'all have a great day.
It's time to go to bed.
Thank you for listening to the Sunkissed Pod.
You can find the Sunkissed Pod on Spotify and Apple.
And you can join us on Instagram at the Sunkissed Pod to stay up to date on the girls and the ladies.
Ta-ta.